In this video, we will be going over the final part of Unit 1 in AP Psychology. Let's get started on sleep, eyes, and ears. Consciousness is the awareness of yourself and your environment. Cognitive neuroscience is study of how our brain activity is linked with thinking, remembering, and communicating. Dual processing is the idea that we process information on two levels, conscious and unconscious. Parallel processing is handling multiple aspects of a problem simultaneously. Sequential processing is processing information one at a time, usually to process new information. Circadian rhythm is our biological clock, regulates sleep schedules. Alpha waves are slow brain waves associated with being relaxed but awake. NREM1 is when we fall asleep, temperature drops and heart rate slows down. NREM2 is short bursts of EEG with K-complex and sleep spindles. NREM3 is when the heart rate slows down and hard to wake up. REM is rapid eye movement and most muscles are paralyzed and when dream occurs. Hypnagogic sensations are strange and vivid sensations that occur when you're falling asleep. REM rebound is the increase of REM sleep after being deprived of it. Suprachiasmatic nucleus are cell clusters in the hypothalamus that control circadian rhythm by responding to light. Activation synthesis theory is the idea that dreams are your brain's way of making sense of random brain activity during sleep. Consolidation theory is the process by which sleep helps store memories and learning. Insomnia is trouble falling or staying asleep. Narcolepsy is a sleep disorder where people unexpectedly fall asleep during the day. REM sleep behavior disorder is when REM doesn't occur, so your muscles don't stay paralyzed. Sleep apnea is where breathing stops or starts while sleeping. Somnambulism is basically sleepwalking. Stimuli are things in our environment that triggers a response from your senses like sound, touch, and smell. Sensation is the process of your sensory organs, eyes, ears, nose, mouth, receiving stimuli from their environment. Psychophysics is study of how we sense and perceive physical stimuli like light, sound, and taste. Sensory receptors are cells that detect and respond to different forms of sensory stimuli such as light, sound, and touch. Signal detection theory is a theory explaining how we decide if a quiet sound is present despite background noise. Absolute threshold is the minimum amount of stimulation required for a stimulus to be detected by a sensory system. Just noticeable difference is the smallest change in a stimulus that you can notice. Weber's law is the principle that difference threshold depends on proportion, not the amount. Sensory adaptation is when you get used to a constant stimulus and stop noticing it, such as not feeling your clothes after a while. Sensory interaction is the idea that different senses can influence each other, such as how taste is affected by smell. Synesthesia is a condition where one sense triggers another, such as when someone might see colors when hearing music. Embodied cognition is the idea that our body and actions influence our thoughts and emotions. Subliminal is below the threshold of awareness, where hidden messages might influence you. Priming is a process where exposure to one stimulus influences your response to a future stimulus. Hue is the color we see. Transduction is the process of turning light into signals that the brain can understand. Cornea is the front part of the eye that helps focus on light. Pupil is center of the eye that controls how much light enters. Iris is the colored part of the eye that controls the size of the pupil. Retina is a layer at the back of the eye that has rods and cones to detect light. Blind spot is the part of the eye where you can't see because there's no retina there. Optic nerve is nerve that carries visual info from the eye to the occipital lobe. Lens are the clear part of the eye behind the pupil that focuses light onto the retina. Accommodation is when lens change shapes to focus on near or far objects. Nearsightedness is difficulty seeing far objects. Farsightedness is difficulty seeing close objects. Fovea is center of the retina where vision is very accurate. Photoreceptors are cells in the retina that detect light. Rods are cells in the eye that help us see in dark places. Cones are cells in the eye that helps us see color in bright light. Trichromatic theory is the idea that we see colors based on 3 types of cones that are sensitive to red, blue, or green. Opponent process theory is the idea that we see colors in pairs, such as red-green, blue-yellow, and white-black. Feature detectors are brain cells that detect lines, angles, and movements. After images are visual images that you see after staring at something for too long. Ganglion cells are cells in the retina that send information from the eye to the brain. Dichromatism is color blindness where a person can only see 2 colors. Monochromatism is total color blindness when one person only can see gray. Prosopagnosia is unable to recognize faces. Middle ear is part of the ear with tiny bones called the ossicles. Cochlear is part of the inner ear where sound waves are turned into signals for the brain. Inner ear is deepest part of the ear that includes the cochlea, helps with hearing and balance. Place theory is the idea that different parts of the cochlea are activated by different pitches. Volley theory is the idea that groups of neurons can work together to send signals about sounds. Frequency theory is the idea that the speed of neural impulses match the frequency of the sound. Conduction deafness is hearing loss caused by problems with the middle ear. Sensory neural deafness is hearing loss caused by damage to inner ear. Cochlear implant is a device that helps people with sensory neural deafness by directly sending signals to the cochlea. Sound localization is ability to tell where a sound is coming from. So we just completed Unit 1, and please let me know in the comments what can be improved, and please subscribe to see Unit 2.